The wildest moments of Kanye's White House takeover.
It ain't that simple. It's complex.
Smart cookie.
Should this have been allowed to happen? Plus, Amanda Peet talks about globetrotting on the star-studded new series from the creator of Mad Men, The Romanovs. ABC News anchor Tom Yamas has a sneak preview of the first solo interview with First Lady Melania Trump. It is Feel Good Friday on View Your Deal. And Yvette Nicole Brown's back to guest co-host. Hot Topics are in the house with Whoopi, Abby Huntsman, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
Sunny, come on.
Welcome to the View, welcome to the View, welcome to the View. As you may have noticed, Whoopi and Joy are both off today, and back to cap off a week of guest hosting is our dear friend, Yvette Nicole Brown. It's been so good to have you here.
I have had a ball. I've enjoyed you guys. I've enjoyed New York. It's been amazing.
You're just a good vibe.
You can't leave.
I need you to stay. I need you all the time.
I'm going to hit you in your text.
Magic energy.
It is a magic energy.
She's magical.
A wonderful sparring partner on politics. I love talking politics with you.
I feel the same way about you.
And she said the best prayer right before we came out for us. So
guys.
Wonderful. So thank you. Thank you. So yesterday, as the Florida Panhandle was dealing with the devastation that Hurricane Michael left in its wake, this is how President Trump spent most of his afternoon. Take a look.
This hat, it gives me power in a way. You know, my dad and my mom separated, so I didn't have a lot of male energy in my home. There was something about when I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman. You made a Superman. That's my favorite superhero. I was connected with a neuropsychologist that works with the athletes in the NBA and the NFL. He said that I actually wasn't bipolar. I had sleep deprivation. I don't answer questions in simple sound bites. You are tasting a fine wine. It has multiple notes to it. I love this guy right here.
Absolutely. But that's from the heart. Special guy.
Even President Trump seemed a bit speechless after that performance, but Kanye is clearly dealing with some issues right now. Should the White House have allowed this to happen? Ladies?
Well, the timing was certainly off, right? Because you had people that are fighting for their lives, as we were talking about this morning in Florida and Georgia and other parts of this country. And also the stock market was plunging. So it didn't feel right. There were two things that really bothered me about this. One was the lack of substance. The issue of prison reform is something that I'm passionate. I think everyone in this room is passionate about, of how we move forward on helping people that have been in prison. It didn't get to that. If they really were genuine, they would have gone behind closed doors. They would have brought in some experts. And it's been proven that a reality star can do that and have an effect. Kim Kardashian did that and got someone out of prison. The other thing that bothered me, though, was the reaction to all of it, the media hysteria. I was raised with the notion that it was never supposed to be about the people delivering the news. And it has turned into, how can I make a headline? How could I make this about me? And people were piling on with this as who could be more hysterical in this moment. I was just surfing the channels yesterday and I was frustrated because, yes, there was so much insanity in that Oval Office yesterday. What did we expect to happen when you have two reality stars in the Oval Office? But it frustrated me with the reaction of the hysteria. And the media made it more about them than they did about what actually was going on.
I think that right now we're dealing with, we're watching a slow-moving train wreck. We've been watching that at 1600 Penn for about 18 months now, and now they're bringing in the second tier of circus performers, so this is a huge circus. I am saddened by what I saw yesterday. My main issue was no one stopped it. Anyone with a heart that saw what was happening to that man should have turned off the cameras, put the cameras down, and said, we're going to take a minute and let me just talk. Even if the man in the occupant, as Whoopi calls him, had a heart, he could have said, you know what, I'm going to have a private meeting with him.
Right.
That's great what you're saying, but I want to talk to you.
Did it seem like mental illness to you?
I'm not a doctor, but I know that something's not right, and there's a medication or something that can maybe help some of the things that were going on, and also the idea of tying it to no man being in the home. My brother grew up without my father in the home, and my brother has never done that. So I don't want you to make this about not having a father, or I know that you had something to say about the...
We're getting...
Are we gotta go?
We have some time. We got a little time, no?
Then why are you in my ear telling me we got no time?
All right. You know what? We'll talk more about Kanye when we come back.
Thank you.
Still ahead, the Romanov star Amanda Peet, ABC News anchor Tom Yamas on his interview with First Lady Melania Trump, and it's Feel Good Friday on View Your Deal.
Welcome back. Now, we were just talking about Kanye West's visit to the White House, and during our morning meeting, you said something that was really interesting, because people are saying that that this happens to him around the anniversary of his mother's death, and that perhaps that triggers his mental illness.
So why I didn't want to rush through the last segment is that I am now 48 days out since my father passed. And make no mistake, grief is something, I heard the metaphor that it feels like a part of your body has been amputated. And I feel like 2/3 of my heart has been amputated, and I'm trying to figure out how to live with 2/3 of my heart gone. And it is overwhelming, and it's the way I imagine an addict has to stay on sobriety when they're sober. I have to stay on my emotional health right now. All of you know it, you're all my close friends. And I think when I see someone like Kanye, I just felt compassion that he doesn't have the same kind of support that I do. I have my in-laws, I have my husband, I have therapists, everyone holding me, and he reacted this way. And also, much like you're not going
get out of hand, which it did. Why not protect him and protect yourselves and say, let's do this differently. Let's do this behind closed doors.
I also feel like when he left that there was laughter at his condition. This is a man that has mocked Dr. Ford, a disabled reporter, every person everyone has a name. Kanye now has a nickname. I know that he has a nickname, and it's something that he calls him with his little buddies, and maybe with Jared and Ivanka. They had a little laugh at his expense because that's what he does. And I feel like that's our shame, because no one's helping. And I don't know if he's open to help, but I just feel like this is a public cry for help, and he's not getting any help.
I will say I've dealt with this in my... you know, and I've shared this with all of you, that I've dealt with someone in my family that suffers from bipolar, and I can tell you it's extremely difficult to get them admitted into the hospital. They have to be a danger to themselves or others, so they have to admit themselves. But I wonder, where is Kim? Where's the Kardashian machine?
You also have dealt with extreme grief that you've also shared with me. And what I think is important is it's not the politics of this. It's not that you can support Trump all day long. I was talking about in the meeting, I remember when Daddy Yankee came to my dad's headquarters to support him as a surrogate right there. And he came in, he was so professional. I was in the meeting when it happened. When he came on the road, he held a concert for my father. They did a presser together, and it was all done very professionally. And if Kanye wants to support the president, he should do it in a professional manner, not showing photos of planes he wants to
I don't think his goal is to support the president. His goal is to get attention and to talk about what he wants to do. It was what we were seeing were a mirror image. I'm glad they were across the desk from each other, because I hope that they could look into each other's eyes and see each other.
No, I actually think
see themselves.
Trump's face was sort of, well, Trump's face was like, I don't even know what to do in this situation. This is like beyond what I even understand.
Well, I read something on Twitter yesterday. It said, untreated bipolar disorder meets untreatable narcissism. And perhaps that's what
I do want to make one point, though, before we go,
I just want to back on this before we wrap. It's okay to not be okay, because I'm not 100% okay right now in my grief. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not feel 100% all the time, and I just don't want anything to be stigmatized about grief or being bipolar, anything, any problems anyone has. It's okay to not be okay. I just, for me, I do know that none of you would let me go on television if I were behaving like that.
No, we got your back, girl.
Thank you.
Well, we'll be right back.
If you've never voted before, I can't tell you how important it is and how exciting it is to get in the game. You know, democracy implies that people are involved and engaged. If people don't participate in the democratic system, it's no longer a democracy. So that's why you've got to get in the game, get involved, and then you can go back to hating all the politicians.
Go to our website now and get registered to vote your view.
Welcome back. Abby and Yvette each sat down for interviews with two of our executive producers, Candy and Brian, which you can hear on the View podcast. I guess I will get my invitation later to be on the podcast. Thank you. Anyway, you can find both episodes by searching The View on your favorite podcast app and subscribing. And it's really good. So
is fun.
hopefully everybody will check it out. Now, This Is Us star Chrissy Metz told time of body image issues, she finally found the courage to wear a swimsuit for the first time at 38 years old. Isn't that incredible? I mean, I think that's incredible. She says she's at a point in her life where she's going to do what she wants. What do you think it takes to get someone to just get to that point?
You know, I think she's had, first of all, I love Chrissy.
Yeah,
I do too.
I think that she's come to a point in her life where she realizes that she's fully fabulous, no matter what size she is, no matter who she is. And I think that's a journey every woman, especially in this world, needs to make for herself. Like this is my truth. I don't show my arms. Ever.
Ever?
Ever. Google search me and see it. You've never seen my arms. You'll see, I'll show from here down because I think they're big and they're misshapen in my mind. And then every summer I'm hot and I see somebody and I'm like, oh girl, they are all free and I am smoking hot not in a good way, I'm smoking hot in the sweating way.
Yeah. Like covering yourself?
Yeah, because I'm always covered.
Even
And
at the beach?
I don't like the beach. It's not about my arms, I just don't like the beach. But I'm finding that with Chrissy making this stand and being free about herself, it kind of makes me want to go sleeveless. So when I do, I may post a picture.
Yeah, I don't know.
It'll be big if I do. If I do, it'll be huge.
But I think it's pretty relatable. I mean, can you relate to that? But it's like 38 years and she's never worn a bathing suit.
I also don't like showing my arms.
Yeah.
I don't do it that often either. It's definitely an insecurity of mine.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, not to keep talking about death, but right now, I'm happy my body is healthy and functioning and I'm alive, and small things mean so much more. And I did go swimming and I was drinking when I had my time off before I came here. And I remember being like, I do not give two flying, you know what, about what people think of my body right now. It is so small and how important life is in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And you're healthy.
Celebrate, yes, and our body's health is the #1 thing for me right now, and we should just be so happy that we have wonderful.
You both are beautiful.
Thank
you. You both are.
Lady, but when Yvette and I have to go to a special bra store.
We do have to go to a special
Don't
bra
complain
store.
about that.
We do.
Special bra
I wish
store.
I had to. I wish I had to.
We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Why does the finale of Game of Thrones really hit home for actress Amanda Peet? She's live on The View next.
Welcome back. Amanda Peet is part of the all-star cast from the new show by Mad Men creator Matthew Weiner. It's called The Romanoffs, and she has an interesting take on her daughter's pregnancy. Take a look at this.
I can't hear you. Where are you?
Hold on. I had a dream that she had a baby. It was a boy, by the way.
We know that already.
Really? So how is she?
Serene, like a boa constrictor digesting an elephant.
Please welcome Amanda Peet. Welcome to the table. So we want to get to the show. It sounds awesome, but there's a hot topic we didn't get to this morning, and it's about Julia Roberts, someone who we all love, who's beautiful, and her niece Emma Roberts posted a photo of the two of them.
both.
If we can pull that up on Instagram. She has no makeup on, but she looks absolutely gorgeous, as she always does. And there was some hate, as you can imagine, below. She said, she took it personally. She said it was hard for her. You don't do any social media. You never have.
I don't do social media. That's part of the reason, because I'm sure I can't imagine anyone thinking that she doesn't look stunning there, but I just don't know how. it's a problem of it's like when my sister comes and she does those like 2,000 part puzzles.
Yes, I love it.
And when I see those little tiny pieces, my brain just shuts down, and that's how I am about anything to do with technology.
You're probably happier though.
Right.
It's possible. I also I wouldn't be able to I can't look at those comments.
Right.
I would.
People are mean. They said that Julia Roberts looked like a man and that she wasn't aging well.
Wow.
And
Julia
she said,
Roberts,
can you imagine
everybody.
they tell that to a 15-year-old? I mean,
And
that's
how that would affect.
how
She
that would
looks
affect.
stunning. And
Yeah.
it's absurd.
I know. Amanda,
I'm genuinely such a huge fan of yours. All your work, all your movies. And also, we went to the same college, so I always ride hard for Columbia girls. But people also know that your husband is the co-creator and writer of Game of Thrones. But the show is wrapping, which I'm heartbroken over. But does it mean more time at home together? How do you feel about the show?
Yes, I sort of feel like we've been dating for the last 9 years, and now we're actually going to be living together as a family. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, we won't get divorced.
And you have 3 kids, young kids, ages 3 to 11.
Yeah.
As parents, are you the strict type? Are you the overprotective type? I mean, I know something about that.
Maybe I can't get it right because David's partner for Game of Thrones, D.B. Weiss, he lets his 10-year-old and 7-year-old, I think they've watched little bits of Game of Thrones, Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty's funny.
Yeah.
Porky's. And yet when they play with my kids, they're sort of like cousins. It'll be my girls who are like, I'm gonna frickin' kill you. Like when they play with their Legos and stuff, and their kids are so polite and lovely. So I don't know what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
We all should watch more Rick and Morty.
The best. It's such a great show.
I happen to know the creator, Dan Harmon.
He's the greatest.
Yeah, he did Community.
Friends in high places.
Yeah, he's created Community. Are the kids excited for Halloween and have they picked up their costumes?
Well, so we are also crazy, crazy psycho Adventure Time fans.
Yes.
So, so I'm gonna be Lumpy Space Princess. Lumpy Space Princess is up flying in the right.
So it's a family costume.
So I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah. I love it.
It's probably pretty comfy though.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
It's a family costume.
Yeah, it's
I
a
love
family
that.
costume thing. And David, I think David's gonna go with Rick and Morty.
Yes.
Because the other day I was in my kitchen and a box from Amazon arrived and it was Pickle Rick. Oh! It was a big.
I wish you were on social media.
That's a
we could see
good
the
one.
You can imagine I was like, what is this?
That's a good one.
It's a huge.
I may
You're
do
gonna
Being a great actress, you're also a wonderful writer.
Oh.
And your second play, it's called Our Very Own Carlin McCullough, was staged this summer in LA. It starred Mamie Gummer, it's Meryl Streep's daughter, and it got incredible reviews, but apparently you didn't see any of the reviews.
Right. Well, so this goes to the Julia Roberts thing. I just can't. So when I was 26, I read a review of mine that was horrifying and was so mean, and then I had to get back on stage. Oh. So now I just don't read reviews at all, because it's a slippery slope. You can't pick and choose. You can't. So we just don't do it.
So you just don't read them.
So there's no one that can just grab the good ones and go, here, girl.
Yeah,
read
this.
And
say, this looks good.
My entire family lives in fear of my wrath if any of it gets through the wall of silence.
Probably the better for it.
Yeah, but it's a good way to protect yourself and also protect the artistry.
Well, some people can handle it. I'm just not one of those people.
Yeah, but the best revenge is actually just succeeding. And that's exactly what you've done. And you're here for a bigger purpose, the show that we talked about in the intro. You're starring in the new series of The Romanovs from Mad Men creator Matthew Weiner. I love Mad Men. And you got to work with John Slattery. Were you a fan of his or Mad Men before you did the show?
Yes, I think I have geeked out when I've seen Slattery in the past. And so it was very weird to be.
I've seen him in New York. You can't miss him.
Yeah.
Because he has that same silver hair.
Handsome.
And he's cute.
Handsome.
Silver fox.
Sorry, David.
What can people expect from the show?
Well, actually, speaking of getting older, I play a grandmother. I'm about to be a grandmother.
Yeah, like I said, your daughter was having a baby. I'm like, how?
I know.
How?
I know. Very young grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yes, when I first got it, I partly because I thought it was written so beautifully, I was like, is this a mistake, maybe? Okay. So yeah, I'm a grandmother.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
You've never played one before, I'm guessing.
No. And
Well, she can't. She can't play one.
Yeah.
She looks like this.
I sure can.
Yeah,
Bring it on.
exactly.
Grandmother role.
All right, we'll check it out, the Romanovs. Amanda, Pete, thank you for being with us. Come back anytime. All right, the first episodes of the Romanovs, they are available to stream today on Amazon Prime Video, and we will be right back.
What was the most surprising moment when the First Lady opened up to ABC News anchor Tom Yamas in her first solo interview? He's live on The View next. Next week, the sizzling hot political views are right here. Two senators, two sides of the aisle. First, he's had his differences with the president, but he still voted to confirm him. Now Monday, Senator Ben Sasse faces the women of The View. Then Thursday, their heated exchange ended with an apology. So what's Senator Amy Klobuchar saying now? And he's blowing up Instagram with his photos of this former president and the shade he's throwing this one. Yep, Pete Souza is hitting The View. Plus, the vice president's daughter, Charlotte Pence, is here. And the Connors are coming. Next week on The View.
Yesterday, we spent all of Hot Topics talking about one clip of First Lady Melania Trump's interview with ABC News anchor Tom Yamas. So I'm sure we'll have a lot more to say after tonight's special, Being Melania, the First Lady. Here with a sneak preview, please welcome Tom Yamas. I'm so excited you're here. So you had to actually go to Africa to interview the First Lady. She's obviously very private. Was this a calculated decision for her to speak out now and to speak out specifically to you right now?
You know, Megan, that's a really good question. It took us 2 years to get this interview.
Wow.
It started back in the campaign. I covered the Trump campaign, and I had been toying with the idea of doing an extended interview with her. And then, you know, we had a lot of meetings with her staff. We had a lot of meetings at the White House. And my pitch to her was very simple. It was, America doesn't know who you are. I want to give you an opportunity to say who you think you are. And I think we got there. I researched all of the interviews going back to when she started dating Donald Trump, late 90s, read all the transcripts I could of every interview she's ever done.
Wow.
She co-hosted The View once. We saw those clips.
She was on Joy's show also.
She was on Joy's show, yeah, right. And so I looked at all those interviews, and I'm not saying this because it's our interview or it's our special tonight, but it is the most revealing interview of Melania Trump, I think, to date. And I think she surprised me with some of her revelations. You guys have seen some of the clips, and I think she's going to surprise the nation. Whether you hate her, whether you love her, she's a mystery, and I think we get a small glimpse tonight.
We do have a clip because there have been a lot of questions about their marriage specifically. People say they sleep in different rooms, that after this is all over, they're going to get a divorce. You went there. You asked these difficult questions. You asked specifically about these alleged infidelities from the president, and here's how that went.
You're not the first lady to have to deal with her husband's alleged infidelities. Has this put a strain on your marriage?
It is not concern and focus of mine. I'm a mother and a first lady, and I have much more important things to think about and to do. I know people like to speculate, and media like to speculate about our marriage.
Have you been hurt, though?
Media, what is speculating, yeah, it's not always pleasant, of course, but I know what is right and what is wrong and what is true and not true.
The only time you have commented publicly your office was when Rudy Giuliani came out and said your thoughts about Stormy Daniels' claims and said she believes in her husband, she knows it's not true. Is that an accurate statement?
I never talked to Mr. Giuliani.
Why do you think he came out and said that?
I don't know. You need to ask him.
Really interesting.
Can I say something?
That's interesting.
Is it possible that she's not concerned with his mistresses because she was one of them? Is that possible? That it doesn't affect
you
her
specifically asked
in
her
that way
if she loved her husband.
Right, I asked her if she loved her husband. She says she still does love her husband. You know, we asked a lot of questions about this because this sort of has consumed the White House this whole year. The president's personal attorney, one-time personal attorney, may go to prison because of the payment and the cover-up connected to all of this. So we did ask those questions. And to the First Lady, there were no ground rules. No questions were off the table. And that takes a lot because she has been through a lot over the last 2 years, and she answered every single one of our questions, including stuff about immigration, including stuff about cyberbullying, and her trip to Africa.
Well, let me ask you this, because we have been questioning her fashion choices, from the pussy bow shirt that she wore right after on her trip to Africa, that she wore visiting children who had been separated from their parents. I mean, does she understand that what she wears is a political statement? Is she trying to make a statement?
You know, people who are Melania watchers, people who track her fashion, everything is making a statement. When we were in front of the Great Sphinx and she was wearing that outfit and essentially said she's, she wants people to focus on her work, not her clothes. It's a fair question to ask. Her style is her style. She's a former fashion model, so those questions are all fair.
So what she wore, I don't care one, though. Does she answer that?
But wait.
So, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What do you guys want to do?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well,
The jacket is, it's a big part of this interview because we got the real story about the jacket. There is a story, there was a message, and we got the real story about what happened with the jacket. She explains it, she explains what she was thinking, she explains why she wore it, and
that is
there's
quite a tease for this interview, because I'm going to watch it just for that.
Yeah.
Right? Wow. Well, another one of the cyberbullying, but she told you she feels that she is one of the most bullied people in the world. Did she acknowledge at all that her husband is one of the world's biggest and most powerful cyberbullies? I mean, they're calling him the, bully in chief. I mean, that can't be lost on her.
It's not, and I asked her about it as well, because it is sort of strange that she took up cyberbullying. There was reporting, and I asked her about this, that the president didn't want you to take up this topic because obviously it was sort of very, very ironic considering what he on the planet. He attacks people's looks, their intelligence, their talent. So
New York Times, you asked Melania if there are people she distrusts in the West Wing. What did she tell you?
She told me that there still is a group of people that she does not trust. There was a group of people that initially she didn't trust. She says those people still are not there. But she says there's still right. He said there's a lot of great people, but there's still people we're weeding out, and we will get them out.
Did she make it sound like there's a sense of paranoia, that they're like looking around the corners, like who could it be?
She didn't seem like there was a sense of paranoia. I think when she sees something and she doesn't like something, she lets her husband know or she lets her staff know. I asked her a lot about the media coverage because she claims she doesn't read it. She told me she doesn't read everything because there's too much. But anytime there's a negative headline about Melania Trump, her team does respond, and they are on top of it. So in that sense, she is a lot like the president as well.
What's so interesting from your perspective is you got to know her off camera too, right? And not everyone gets that perspective. What can you tell us about her that we don't get from these interviews, about her personally?
You see off camera, at least around us, she is very quiet. She was very, very polite. She was very, very professional. I can't stress it enough, but on these big interviews, people usually do have stipulations. People don't always say it, but it's sort of like the ugly truth sometimes. Yeah. And she didn't give us any stipulations, and so for that, I do give her credit. Before we go, I do want to say something. There was a comment made at this table today about Mrs. Trump.
Allegedly.
About Mrs. Trump. I just want to say, whether you like her or you don't like her, she deserves our respect because she is our first lady.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
Thank you, Tom. Our thanks to Tom Yamas. Being Melania, the First Lady, airs tonight right here on ABC at 10 p.m. Eastern. It is a not to be missed. We'll be right back.